friends. Today we're going to have some deep fried squash. The garden's doing great. You always get a ton of squash, so we're going to fry some squash. As the old timers would say, I have a hankering for some fried squash. So we're going to make some fried squash, and I'm going to start cutting up the squash, and I'm going to put it in a strainer because I like my squash to be wet. Cut off the end there. You can see I'm going to do it about, it's going to be fairly thin. So we're going to slice up. I'm just going to do two today, 2 squashes. And then we'll just do a quick little rinse with them so they'll be somewhat wet. I do not want to do flour. I do not use flour in mine. Just use cornmeal only. And I don't do an egg wash. So we're just going to do a quick rinse on this, and we'll be right back. Okay, we got the squashes rinsed. Just a quick rinse, and then I'm going to put in this bag. I'm just going to put plain old yellow cornmeal. And I like a thin crust, so this is also the way I do my okra. So I'm going to put probably about, I'd say probably 1.5 cups in here in this bag. They'll probably be more than enough. Okay, and then I'm going to put some garlic salt. Can't make anything without garlic, at least in this house. Good amount of garlic salt and some Lawry's seasoning. Just a few dashes, however much you like. And then I'm going to do some pepper. This is how we like ours. Okay, I'll just mix that up a little bit. Got my oil getting hot. Okay, now I am not going to put the squash in here until I know that oil's ready, because I don't want it to just sit in the cornmeal and kind of get soggy. I want it to drop in there and then drop straight into the oil. So I'm gonna wait till that oil gets good and piping hot, and we'll be right back. Okay. So my oil is hot. So I'm going to get my squash, and if we did rinse it, I'm going to rinse it just a little bit more because it did sit there for a minute. And then I am going to start putting the squash in this bag real quick. And I'm just going to do a few at a time. I don't do all of them. And then just kind of shake it around. And I've probably got this on a medium-high heat. Stick them in there. And the trick to do for this is to work fast and try not to turn them. So I have my grease deep enough that it's not going to need to be turned, because then that makes the cornmeal fall off. Just do a few at a time, then you have a lot of room in your pan. And this is an iron skillet that I'm using. This iron skillet was my nanny's. It was a wedding present from her grandma. It's an old skillet. I like stuff that has character like that. Now another thing that I do, once I get enough in here to fill kind of make one layer, is I always put a little bit more seasoning. I just shake it right into the skillet because it seems to always kind of get diluted in here and you kind of waste. That's all I'm going to put in there for right now. I'm just going to put a little bit of seasoning in here. I'm going to put regular salt. You just really can't hardly have too much salt when you have squash. It's kind of like potatoes. Gotta have a lot. Some pepper and just a little bit more Lawry's. Let it cook. It's cooking away there. It don't take long. Probably 2 or 3 minutes and it'll be ready to start coming out. Okay, it's been in there probably about 3 to 4 minutes. Now, I do not stir it. I do not flip them. I just let them get done. Like I said, I have enough grease in there to cover them. So, it's, start getting them out. You can have them as brown as you want or as light brown as you want, but I just know that the more you stir and the more you mess with it, then your cornmeal starts coming off and then your grease will start burning. And this is the way I like it, with no flour and no egg wash. It's just kind of like just a real old-timey way. Pull these out. And we'll put another batch in. You generally will need to do, depends on how much you like fried squash, you'll need to do about 1 squash per person. And that's not a real big squash. That's just kind of like the size you would find in the grocery store. But when you tend to grow them, those of you that grow squash know you pretty much pick them every day. They grow overnight. So that's easy to get a bigger squash than what you would get in the store. But they're better when they're little. So here is our last batch. It's one of my favorite things. This and okra. So much better homemade than. There's your fried squash. See how good it has a lot of coating on it? Because you don't turn them. You don't do anything. But just let it sit in there. Now, I like them when they're real thin and real crispy, like this one. So if you want to put more salt on there, just test it and enjoy. Okay, I'm going to try one. I can't wait. I'm going to try one. They're still probably too hot. Some people like ketchup with it, tartar sauce with it. It's really a preference, individual preference. I like it just like this with not anything on it. Love it. Hot, hot, hot. One of my favorite things. Try it. You'll like it. We'll see you next time.